Hey, what's going on, crypto people? It is the Crypto Siege with another day in the life, in the crazy life. This is the digital asset space. Good morning. Happy Monday to you guys. Wow, interesting times. I'm hearing that the stimulus bill package has not been approved yet. Apparently, there's some disagreements. It's not fully bipartisan yet. So the Democrats are thinking that the bill, and this is, makes sense, is geared more towards helping out corporate and or banks versus the average Joe and Jane, the average working people. So they're trying to work that out. They believe that another vote will take place today, at sometime today, Monday. But guys, I want to go over some very, very interesting things, just some stuff from Twitter. So guys, listen, this is your XRP Ripple daily news in 0 to 10 minutes. Let's do this. So, guys, stocks fall even after Fed pledges unlimited asset purchases. And Mnuchin says stimulus deal is close. Dow futures dropped 600 points as investors await a stimulus deal. Again, has not been, I think they need like a 60 vote this time, and they do not have it. In fact, it's not close. So, stocks fell on Monday even after the Federal Reserve unveiled new measures to keep markets working properly. Wall Street awaited Washington lawmakers to agree to an economic stimulus and rescue plan to cushion the blow from the beer cold outbreak. The Dow Jones Industrial Average traded more than 300 points lower at the open, or 1.7%. The S&P slid 1.6%, while the NASDAQ composite was down 0.2%. One of the measures taken by the Fed was an open-ended asset purchase program, which the central bank will run in the amounts needed to support smooth markets function. Caitlin Long was not excited about that. She just said that was the end of capitalism as we know it. So amounts needed to support smooth market functioning and effective transmission of monetary policy to broader financial conditions and the economy. While the Fed's actions are an enormous help, the only way the market was going to find sustainable improvement is when the economy is allowed to come back to life, or at least there is real path in place for how that is going to happen, said Paul Hickey of Bespoke Investment Group in a note. Treasury Secretary Mnuchin told CNBC's Jim Cramer on Squawk Box Monday that Congress was very close to getting a fiscal package done, noting it must be pushed forward today. So he must have met with him early this morning, right? We're using some of the funds we have, but we need Congress to approve additional funds today so that we can move forward and support American workers and the American economy, Mnuchin said. So, but the reason that this is being held up is because, again, the Democrats, Pelosi, was not happy with the fact that it was overly weighed in one direction towards corporate America and the banks. So a fiscal stimulus bill failed a key procedure Senate vote Sunday, as Democrats warned the measure did not do enough to help impacted workers. There you go. And instead offered too much for company bailouts. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi had signaled she was not on board with the Republicans' version of the stimulus plan, saying, from my standpoint, we are apart. On a positive note, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said disagreements over the bill could be overcome in the next 24 hours. A spokesman for Schumer later added the senator and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin had a productive meeting. This is a chart showing the what's going on. National Economic Council Director Larry Kudlow said Saturday an economic stimulus package will total more than $2 trillion, noting it will be equal to roughly 10% of the United States economic output. Last week, President Donald Trump signed a $100 billion bill that expanded paid leave in the U.S. Doesn't it feel like they're just really throwing everything in the kitchen sink at this? And, it feels as though, we talked about this on the stream the other day, They're looking to really devalue the dollar, in my opinion. Boeing shares rose 4.6%, outperforming the market as Goldman Sachs made a bold call Sunday evening, telling clients the company had enough cash to survive the beer cold downturn and that air travel would eventually return. The shares are off 70% this year. David Kostin, chief U.S. equity strategist at Goldman Sachs, said the difference between a fast or prolonged recovery in the stock market will come down to three factors: how quickly the beer cold is contained, whether businesses will have enough access to enough capital and liquidity to last the 90 to 180 days, and whether fiscal stimulus can stabilize growth forecasts. In short term, shutdown leads to business defaults, closures, and permanent layoffs. The damage to corporate earnings growth could persist well after the beer cold is contained, Kostin said in a note. So let's see what Jim Rickards says about all of this. So, we all know Jim Rickards, very sharp, inside type guy in geopolitical space. Dow futures just turned on a dime after the Fed's whatever it takes announcement. So did gold futures. So markets are easy to figure out right now. You either believe in the power of the printing press or you don't. Take your pick. Yes, this is interesting. Shout out to Matt Liney on Twitter. It says Singapore and Australia to collaborate on digital economy initiatives. Interesting. So we know digital economy, right? So that's a very interesting thing. I read over the article a little bit. I know they mentioned about working together on collaborating on the new move towards the ISO 2022 as well. So here's the article here. Singapore and Australia to collaborate on digital economy initiatives. One thing that I wanted to point out here says the two countries also will support the development of safe and secure cross-border e-payments with promises to drive transparent and facilitative rules, such as pushing the adoption of open APIs and accepted standards such as the ISO 20022. This is very, very interesting. And I think it's important to kind of point out the beer cold and how it's how it's affecting the world's economy, the global economies. Again, guys, we all know what the end game is. This is about economics. This is about the economies. The beer cold was just, someone said it the other day, is just the pin that's popping the bubble. The market has been like this for a long time. The printing press era is coming to an end. We are moving into the digital economy, the digital asset economy, without question. So beer cold, latest news, Boris Johnson faces full-scale cabinet mutiny from his cabinet and CAs if he does not enforce a lockdown. So these lockdowns are becoming they're happening in countries, guys. It's not just, going on in the United States. It's happening worldwide, and that's going to businesses shut down. I read something the other day on Twitter talking about 30%. I believe it's Greg Manarino saying 30% job loss, which is worse than the Great Depression. What's the answer? So here's an interesting thing. Amidst the beer cold chaos, leading Italian bank launches full-fledged crypto wallet. Guys, we all know that Italy was one of the worst hit with the beer cold. We all know that R3 talked about, 78% of the banks will be up and running on R3 and DLT by the end of 2020. We're moving to a digital asset economy. That is, I hope that it's very, very obvious to see this is the move that they're looking to make. And the fact that they're willing to come up with all kind of money out of nowhere is just, for me, it points to the fact in the article that we shared with you guys the other day, XRP, the standard, that they're really looking, the ace in the hole is to just really dump this dollar just to devalue the dollar, the US dollar, as much as possible. So it's just an interesting move, and it could be a short-term thing that they're looking to do with the dollar. It could be a long-term thing. But the nations of the world are moving to a digital asset economy, guys. All right. So despite the fact that the world is fighting the beer cold outbreak and the nationwide lockdown, Italy's leading bank, Banca Sella, has rolled a full-fledged crypto wallet. It's got to make you think a little bit. The bank has likely leveraged the potential demand for virtual money as people are transforming their way from fiat to Bitcoin as part of, and that just means digital assets, as part of safe money following the ongoing crisis. As per the report, the bank, with its unique platform dubbed as Hype, is aiming to foster the adoption of virtual money. Right? So, when you talk about something that has been hardest hit, right? So behind China has been Italy. The direction that they're moving tells you the direction that they're moving. Right? Does it make sense? Because if they're moving this way, it's because, right, businesses are going to be shutting down. People are not safe, feeling comfortable with the fiat dollar. So one nation does this, announces this, their leading bank is putting together a crypto wallet, and another nation, where China already said that it's going to put together their own digital currency, right? The digital yuan. Two largest nations hit, transitioning. The two largest nations hit are transitioning to the digital asset economy, guys. So per the reports, this new wallet enables people to purchase, sell and store. I think they meant sell and store the Bitcoin, the digital assets, right? In addition to this, people can start purchasing goods and services using digital assets. I don't like cryptocurrency. Digital assets through this new banking wallet. Don't you find, again, you just got to pay attention to how they move is how they're going to move, guys. So interestingly, the wallet serves nearly 1.2 million users of the bank's Hype Plus digital platform. However, the bank foresees the accessibility of the service to all Banca Sella customers. Noticeably, the platform is designed and integrated by a crypto company, Conio. This integration is said to be as equivalent as jamming Coinbase app into a bank account. Don't you find that interesting? Christian McCauley, the co-founder of Conio, said that banks feel threatened by cryptocurrencies, and like all big organizations, have a natural tendency to resist change. But this time, innovation is impossible to stop. It is akin to trying to stop the wind with your hands. Besides Banco Sella Bank, the other banks are also following in this stream. For instance, Ziglu, which is yet to release, and Revolut, with almost 5.5 billion, which is yet to 5.5 billion valuations. Wow, really? Revolut's doing this thing, is exciting their customers by combining crypto services. However, concerning Revolut's crypto banking services, Conio's co-founder Vincenzo Di Nicola said that while Revolut may give the impression to manage Bitcoin, customers can neither receive nor can transfer them. It's a walled garden approach that actually defeats the purpose of digital assets. Although people have self-quarantined, yet Hype's approach is that the people are now more cautious of coins and paper money. The fear that the beer cold spreading across the world, people are turning to digital currency by dumping the paper version of money as a cleaner solution for the future. Can you see the narrative being touted throughout mainstream media? They're going to point again and again to what Italy is doing. Why? Because it was one of the hardest hit nations. Very, very interesting. Very, very exciting times, guys. Again, I started out with the challenges going on throughout the globe, and I ended with which is the answer, and that is this new asset class that is a digital asset space, guys. All right, guys, listen, I am going to wrap up this video like I do all of my videos and remind you of this. Old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather us remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in, where we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating? Or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know, that the battle for you has already been fought, and the victory is yours. Go get it. I'll talk to you soon, guys. See ya. Bye.